Thank you, sir, for joining me. Also in studio with us here on Front and Center is lawyer and political analyst Joy Mdivo, as well as lawyer and political strategist Dr. Alutalala Mukhwana. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on this maiden show. Dr. if I can begin with you, and tonight we're just taking a look at the state of the race, 46 days to the election, barely 7 weeks. The running mates have been picked. The IEBC has cleared the 4 presidential candidates. From where you sit, what is the state of this presidential race?
Well, thanks Ben for having me, and very good evening to all the ladies and gentlemen here. We haven't met in quite a while. In terms of the state of the presidential elections, I do not know whether your question is in terms of how tight the race is or how prepared the candidates are, but I'll pick either.
All of it.
All of it. We clearly have 2 very strong contenders, and anybody else doesn't deserve a comparison. We have 2 strong presidential candidates in the name of Dr. William Ruto and His Excellency, the former Prime Minister, Raila Odinga. For quite some time, it was clear to everybody that Dr. Samoei Arap Ruto was leading the pack, at least going by the numbers he was pulling and going by the time and resources he has evidently put on the ground. Honorable Raila Odinga appeared to play catch-up, but with the entry of Honorable Martha Karua, if increasing number of crowds is anything to go by, there seems to be a steady climb in Honorable Odinga's pace towards a presidential seat. Right. That's my preliminary take.
Joy, what is your initial take? Has anything changed over the last few weeks, whether it is because of the picking of the presidential running mates or the campaign, the campaigns across the country? Has anything changed from where you sit, or is it still a very close 2-horse race?
First and foremost, thank you for having me on your show, and congratulations on a new show. I think one of the things that is evident is first and foremost the whittling down of the candidates. Remember, there was a time there was the fear that we're going to have the 56 people on this booklet of a ballot paper, but after the initial winnowing, what we see is 4 people have been left, having been cleared. Of those 4, 2 are clear front runners and 2 are clear maverick candidates. One with the mantra for, almost social decadence, for lack of a better word, and another one on the holy path to righteousness.
Well, he has quite a following, and we'll get to that at some point.
It is true. One of the things that I think Kenyans have understood, that in this season, there is a lot of entertainment to be had from the political shenanigans. So there is a difference between genuine supporters and curious onlookers. And so there are times when people come just to see, the spectacle. When you go to show and there's this kichwa bila mwili, everybody goes to see what this is all about. So some of these candidates, if somebody was to take a pen and he has a son and he's thinking that I'm going to vote to legalize cannabis, and one of the biggest problems we have in our school these days is drug abuse. I mean, it defies logic. Yeah. But in terms of a spectacle, it's a good show. But for the 2 front runners, as far as I'm concerned, the choice of running mates brought 2 different energies into the campaigns. So into one campaign, the Raila Odinga campaign, it energized the sleeping base of the urbanites who are reformers and were thinking we have 0 ticket here. So they're thinking, okay, fine, maybe we have a reform ticket. And that's why you find in that campaign right now, Martha Karua is basically the face of the campaign because she's bringing with her this Martha wave.
All right.
However, on the other side, DP Ruto with his pick of Rigathi Gachagua, his strategy was different. He's still trying to court the mountain and show them, what, with me, this is your safe bet. And he's picked somebody who's a strong man in the mountain. Well, the rest of the country may not really get him.
All right.
But when it comes to vote for vote, I think he hit the jackpot with Rigathi, actually.
Kipchumba, let me come to you. You tell me your thoughts on that. And pundits, especially foreign pundits, have labeled Kenyan elections as never, judged or influenced by issues, but rather by the political, party figureheads and a lot of money that goes around during this season. Do you think anything has changed? We have seen a kind of an economic agenda from all the political sides. Have we departed from what traditionally have been Kenyan elections?
Yeah, thank you, Ben, for having me in the new show, and congratulations for the debut. I think what we must give the Uhuru Ruto ticket, 2013 all the way, is that the tried as much as they could to introduce issue-based politics. And in the last election in 2017, they really hammered the issues. It went down to the issues, and that has been deepened now by the presence of UDA. It moved to Kenya Kwanza, because you have seen us going to the extent of trying to do town halls at county levels, which is a way of doing civic education and other things. It is a way of making sure that we run away from the politics of identity and the ethno-majoritarian kind of democracy to an issue-based kind of a politics. I know we might not be in that table yet, but the strides that have been made is a good way to go. Because look at even when Martha Karua has come on the fold of Raila Odinga, she has tried to run that ticket on the issue of anti-corruption and integrity, while the other side is running on an economic reforms and the bottom-up kind of thing. So at the end of the day, we have to give it to the political sides now that we are trying to run politics of issues. And that is why each side is balanced in terms of the tribal arithmetic. If you go to Kenya Kwanza, you will find there are people who come from Luo Nyanza in that ticket. If you come to Azimio, you will find people from Rift Valley in that ticket. So at the end of the day, it is not so much about the person, but we are trying to largely see the policies behind the people. Right. And then again, Ben, even if you go lower now, if you cascade that to the county politics at the lower level, you have seen debates where governor candidates, gubernatorial candidates are trying to engage on issues. It is no longer about my clan or my sub-tribe and your sub-tribe. At least this election, and I think why it has gone that way, as a person who participated in the election, there is not so much liquidity in this election.
All right.
So with the lack of proper financing from the kind of the liquidity we have in the nation, people resort to trying to be creative and bring issues on board so that you can sustain the electorate.
Sylvester, in the next 46 days, Kenyans will be going to the polls to elect their next set of leaders. More importantly, their 5th president. Where do you think we stand as a country as far as this is concerned?
Thank you very much for having me in the show. First and foremost, I would like to say that this election is quite a unique one. Also considering that we are first realizing that politics should actually be guided by certain principles, of governance. And what Kenyans are looking for is actually what you can call good leaders, because Kenyans are naturally good people. And as the formations are taking place, you've seen that there's what Kenyans are saying, that there's the trooping of colors, or the like terms are coming together. The reformists have come together, and the credentials that are presented in the ticket of His Excellency Raila Odinga and Senior Counsel Martha Karua does present what Kenyans have actually been looking for. And it equally qualifies so, because these same people have really been the driving force, among others, to bring reforms into the country and actually to make government more accountable. All right. On the other side, of course, we have a mixed grill of what we could call people who belong to the system that was being reformed, but they were not willing to be reformed, but they ended up being reformed anyway. But even if they adopted the ingredients of the reform, we might not tell, but we can still see that some colors have still stuck very high. Right. So what I would like to say is that the trooping of colors have occurred, and Kenyans have a chance to elect a ticket that is going to manage the economy appropriately.